I'm Rebekah O'Dell, and you're watching Mini Moves for Writers. Today I'm going to show you a move for when you're writing a claim or a thesis statement and making an argument about a text to someone who probably kind of gets it, but might not exactly. Imagine you're writing something for your parents to read and understand, or your really cool grandmother. They kind of know what you're talking about. They mostly know what you're talking about, but for them to truly understand the point that you're making, you need to make a little bit of a comparison to help them get there and to help them understand it all the way. Let's call this move an analogy claim. Let's look at it in this sentence by Anna Grace Lee, writing a review of the song Driver's License for Esquire. Driver's License is to Gen Z what You Belong With Me was to millennials. A rallying cry for anyone who's ever pined for someone who didn't love them back. So this is the claim or the thesis statement for her entire review. This is the argument that she's making about the song Driver's License. And she's going to back it up with evidence and lots of reasons why this is true. But to help her reader really understand it, she makes an analogy. And you might be familiar with these from English class yourself. This is to this as that is to that, right? You're familiar with that setup, and that's what Anna Grace Lee is doing here. She's taking that analogy format from English class and turning it into her claim or her thesis statement. So she's writing about driver's license, but she's comparing it to You Belong With Me by Taylor Swift. We have text A, let's call driver's license text A, is to this what text B is to that. That's your standard analogy format, right? And by creating that analogy, she's creating a comparison that she hopes her reader will better understand. Here's something interesting that happens though. She doesn't leave it at that, because you and I know that sometimes analogies are really hard to understand. So she goes the extra mile, just like we should as writers, to make sure her reader understands it by adding a comma and then an explanation of what that analogy means. So what does it mean for driver's license to be for Gen Z, what You Belong With Me to be for millennials? Well, this is what it means. She tells us after the comma, a rallying cry for everyone who's pined for someone who didn't love them back. So here we have an explanation of the analogy. Now, what's amazing about this, other than the fact that this is an awesome claim or thesis statement, is that other writers use this setup too. They use this exact same move. Let's look at this in a couple of other mentor texts. Find a place in your writing when you're making a claim or a thesis statement and you feel like you could be better understood by making a comparison to another text. Could you use this same analogy setup? This is to this, what that is to that, comma, and an explanation of what you mean by that analogy. It's a great way to set up an argument for an entire bigger piece of writing by starting out with a strong comparison right up front. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe so you can get more mini moves for writers.